Hello everybody, it is John. It's been a while since I've done an actual waffle, and of course we've got to have little Pip in for at least a few minutes before it... that's what he thinks of my production already. But as you can see, he's my little man, isn't he? Hey? You think that much of my work? Yes, he said, that's what you get for capturing me. Yes. Anyway, how is everybody? We've still got rain here in Brisbane, and I think it's been with us, I don't know how long now. I've lost the count. It's been here that long. I think 2-3 weeks, maybe 4. Still hasn't gone away. Look, it doesn't worry me. I love the rain, except for the fact that I'm living in a house that's rotting around me. So it's a competition between, yes, I know, it's a competition between rot, white ants, possums, and I guess my insanity. So we'll see what happens. But it's depressing for some. I used to love the rain because it used to mean that I could get out of those dreadful sports days that nobody really enjoys doing unless you're that way focused. And look, I wasn't that way focused. What am I going to talk about? Well, I have... come on, are you going to make yourself comfortable? You happy now? Animals, you got to love them, particularly when they're your best friend, aren't you? Yes, he is. Yes. Now, just Dad, let me... Yeah, he's put his head down now. He's going to go back to sleep until he hears somebody like the possum upstairs going berserk again. Yes, I'll start with books. Oh, books, 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 books. One can never, ever have enough books. No, you can't. So I was very blessed in the fact that my good friend Cindy at the Mount Gravatt bookshop had sent me a message going, look, I've got a lot of books coming in. Do you want to come in and have a look and see what's there? Well, that was a mistake, because 210 books later, yes, that's how many's been added to the collection as of last Thursday. And I'm going back again because there's more. Apparently there's still more coming in. So I'm really happy that Cindy's science fiction fantasy section has exploded, because I'm getting to get a lot of really good books to read. So I reckon 210, maybe a fortnight. No, that's a bit ambitious, I think, but it will certainly be something that I can enjoy. So again, thank you very much, Cindy, for letting me know that those books came in. And in particular, I must thank my good friend Sharita, who is one of the people in my gaming group, or in the gaming group. I shouldn't be actually trying to say, look, it's mine, is it? No, not really. It's a group consensus. So is part of the gaming group that I participate in, and she very nicely took me to the bookshop, because I don't have a car. And I'll tell you now, I was thinking if I had to try and take 210 novels home by bus, I don't think I could. I certainly wasn't going to take a taxi. Oh dear. Or what is it this day? Uber. Yes, no thanks. So that was my visit. So building onto that, we're going to talk all about some new books that I have picked up, mainly for audio, because they're good. I enjoy them. Come on, come down. Oh, he's spotted. Some kids are about somewhere. So I'm even organised. What am I starting with? Yeah, Greg Beck, an Australian author, I believe he is anyway. His series, the Alex Hunter series, The Arcadian, and I have started to enjoy them. They're a bit like what's his name? He does the no, can't remember him now. I'll remember it eventually. I might even be enthused enough to put something down the bottom, but probably not. Yeah, so anyway, I've picked up his series. Yes, there's a lot of kids about at the moment. I picked up, as I said, the Alex Hunter series, and I've got Beneath the Dark Ice, Dark Rising, This Green Hell, Black Mountain, Gorgon, Kraken Rising, and the last one I've got at the moment is The Void, which I've yet to get onto. But each of them cover an interesting little, I guess, supernatural or science horror aspect to it. Like in the first book, Beneath the Dark Ice, it's set down in Antarctica, and you know, there's a thing. Yes, it's like the thing lives down in the depths. Dark Rising. Oh God, I'm trying to remember. Oh, that's right. The effects of a nuclear or black hole creation, shall we call, and a critter comes through from the other side. So that makes an interesting book. This Green Hell. Yeah. Oh, how could I probably put them there? Vampire-esque, sort of. Yeah, but I enjoyed it. Black Mountain, I think, was probably my best to date, and that was Sasquatch or Bigfoot. So they sort of appeared, although I found some anomalies with what he was. You know, I'm thinking that if you've got a race of creatures that have lived subterranean for so long, why would they remember how to function outside in the wild? You'd think they'd suffer agoraphobia. Is it agoraphobia? Anyway, fear of the outdoors, I would have thought. Gorgon is good. You have a look at, I guess, the concept of Medusa. And the last one, The Void, I've no idea yet. I've got it. It's on my list. Next author I have found that I stumbled upon. I don't know how I got him, but Mark William Chase, and he has The Case Files of Aldicus Vescard. Now, it's an interesting book in the fact that it uses a lot of world-type vocabulary. So I had to listen to the book, I think, twice. And since then, it's now become one of my favourite books. It's interesting in the fact that the book is made up of multiple short stories that build up and create the last, I guess, the end story at, obviously, the end. And it's very, very well done. So it's sort of a late 1800s steampunk comes magic world. And as I said, it's not set in our world, it's set in a fantasy world, and it's quite good. I thoroughly recommend it. Because based on that, there was the other one, which is Siege Chronicles. Now, that's in the Audible version, is that you get all the books for that series as one file. So I'm still making my way through that. It's steampunk fantasy come science fiction, and it's set same world, I believe, as Aldicus Vescard's novel. However, I am finding it really, really good, so I do recommend that. Next one, I've gone back to my detective mysteries, and there is an author called P.J. Fitzsimons, or Simmons. Fitzsimmons? Probably Fitzsimmons, I think, not Fitzsimons, Fitzsimmons. So I do apologise, author, if you're actually watching this. It's a very Wodehouseian style book, which I love. I love Wodehouse. And it's called, the first one I've listened to is The Case of the Canterfell Codicil. And it is really good because the Antsy, I can't remember now because I haven't made a note. It's a bit like the Beaujolais from what is that? Oh, God, this is dreadful. My memory's not with me now. Yeah, it's escaped me. I can see the book, I can see the author, and it's not coming to mind. And I only take one take on my videos. But yeah, so the case of the Canterfell codicil is hilarious. It really is. It's very Wodehouse. And then the other one I've got, which I've yet to listen to, is the case of the Ghost of Christmas Morning. So I'm looking forward to that, and I believe there's some others that are in print, but waiting for them to come across to audio. Next, I finally bought some Maxwell Grant, The Shadow books. Yes, the first one I've got, well, there's two of them that I've listened to. The Shadow Unmasks and Partners of Peril. And again, it's a different style of book, and people need to realise that the way how, because my reading collections have spanned almost a century, it's interesting to see how, I guess, the way written English is portrayed, and it reflects the times. And The Shadow is certainly a good example of that. So yeah, again, it's good entertainment, and the narrator certainly hasn't sold it badly, which is good. Simon R. Green, what can I say? One of my favourite authors when it comes to, I guess, the urban fantasy sort of novel setting. When I first saw that Ishmael Jones mystery series came out, I went, oh, look, it's not The Night Side. I really enjoyed The Night Side. However, Ishmael Jones is nothing like Night Side. You know, it makes reference to some people and organisations. You know, the Carnacki Institute's mentioned, I think, and who's the other? They mention. No, as soon as I thought of Carnacki, I got lost. But it's quite good, and there's 10 novels to that. So Ishmael Jones is a alien whose ship crash landed on Earth, and he has gone native, shall we say. But the books that I've got for that so far, and I've read them all, and I have enjoyed some more than others, but the first one is the Dark Side of the Road, Dead Man Walking, Very Important Corpses, Death Shall Come, Into the Thinnest of Air, Murder in the Dark, Till Sudden Death Do Us Part, Night Train to Murder, The House on Widow's Hill, and Buried Memories. So they are the ones so far. I think Buried Memories is the last one that has been produced. But it was, yeah, really, I really did enjoy them. And certainly the narrator was exceptional. And of course, good old John's not made note of who the damn narrators are, so I apologise, but they are really, really good. The other series that I've picked up of his is Gideon Sable, the master thief, shall we call him that. And those books are The Best Things You Can Steal and A Matter of Death and Life. So I believe there's a third book available for it, but I really did enjoy them. And the last one from Simon R. Green is the Jekyll and Hyde Inc. I'm not too sure about this one. I'm going to have to try and watch it a couple more times. Listen to it a few more times, because it's just not quite, I don't know. I like the premise. I just don't know if it's been executed to my liking. So, but no, very good. Now, Peter Hartog is the next order, and he is a sort of a, I guess again, it's urban noir, and It's called, the first book is called Bloodlines. There is a second book in print, but hasn't become available in audio yet. And it's the Guardian of Empire City, and the main character there is Detective Tom Doc Holliday. Yes, but nothing to do with Doc Holliday. It's just a very interesting storyline, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Oh, and now I'm knocking my camera around. Nothing new here with me, is it? Yeah, a bit of a Mickey Mouse production. Now, this chap, Douglas Lumsden. Oh, I want more and more, because his series is called Alex Southland P.I. and it's a noir urban fantasy novel set. And I must admit, the titles are what got me initially, because the first one is a troll walks into a bar, then a witch steps into my office, a hag rises from the abyss, and a night owl slips into a diner. And it is, look, honestly, the main character is excellent. So it's also in a, think of pulp, the pulp era detectives from the 1930s or whatever, transferred into a total fantasy world. But the thing is that they've got mobile phones and computers, and they've got dragons as their overlords, and you've got trolls and gnomes. The gnomes are honestly, the language, obviously the audio has really brought the books to life. But Alex's lawyer that always bails him out's a little gnome, and he's the most foul-mouthed little gnome. He's the sort of solicitor or lawyer that would take any case, regardless of who the person was, as long as he got paid in the end, he didn't care. So, really, really good. And then there was a little novella that he did, still set in that universe, which is The Demon's Dagger. And that has Crawford the Were-Rat in it. And I'm hoping to see more of that, because they introduce this elf assassin who's been trapped in a knife. Sorry, we call it a dagger, because that's part of the whole gag, I guess, through the book, is that Whitetooth, the dagger, gets upset when people call him a knife and says, "I'm a dagger, not a knife." And that just really, really did it for me. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, the last of the books that I'm going to deal with is that I am a great lover of H.P. Lovecraft and that sort of Weird Tales era writers. And one that I'd never heard of until I stumbled across it is an author called Seabury Quinn. Now, apparently he was incredibly prolific within Weird Tales, but never gained the cult status following of Lovecraft and Burroughs. And did Burroughs do any? I can't remember, but I particularly remember Lovecraft anyway. So he didn't get quite the thing, but I'm starting to listen to it, and honestly, it's a wonder some of this stuff got to print, because it's fairly horrific. Some of his cases, and it's all about it's broken over, I think, 5 volumes. I've got the first 2, and they're called The Tales of Jules de Grandin. All right, I've butchered that. French, yes. Anyway, so he's a supernatural French detective, and he investigates monsters, devil worshippers, serial killers, and spirits beyond the grave. And they are... he's an iconic pulp hero, really. That sort of style writing. So it's one that, like, for instance, Volume 1, which is The Horror on the Links, is 25 hours, just under 26 hours of listening time. However, I find that it's probably best to read or listen to the novels. Oh, sorry, to listen to the audio in the chapters, so you get one story done and out. Because once you start to sort of link them all together and read them all at once, or listen to them all at once, you sort of lose that. You lose that enthusiasm, I guess, to want to read the next one. It's a bit like Lovecraft as well, really. You start to read one and then you move on to the next, and it's a bit samey, but still quite good in entertainment. So Seabury Quinn is, so the first book is The Horror on the Links, and then The Devil's Rosary is book number 2, which is 25.5 hours of audio. Look, you can't get any better than that, can you? Excellent. So what else have I been doing? Well, I've been, because of all this wet weather, and wet weather really doesn't work very well with MDF. Sort of swells, yes. So I've been doing some videos on the MDF Terrain building, and I must thank Paul from BP Laser for providing me the buildings and everything, and I'm incredibly thankful for that. My latest one that I've done is called the Wentworth Building, which is actually based on a real building that exists. I think it's in Sydney, and it's a 3-story. Yeah, it's a 3-story building, and I'm just thinking, I feel like cracking out, pardon me, my pulp fiction figures. So, but anyway, so that's what I've been doing. Speaking of rain, which has been raining throughout this clip, so I'm hoping it's not going to come through too much. But yes, mildew and mould. Oh, they're everywhere. It's everywhere. I can't do anything about it. And because I've got so many books, last thing I need is to lose them through or have them degrade significantly. But my wife was the one who was going on about, oh, look, we need some mould spray. Southeast Queensland. Apparently you can't find a lot of mould killer material or products on the shelf. So I was reading on one of the articles, they said, look, vinegar does just as good. Well, I can confirm that, yes, vinegar is excellent. Excellent. Just don't get too vigorous on the covers or you'll find that you'll rip them up. But, you know, a nice clean, because I did that with all the 210 books that I got from Cindy. And that was, oh dear, that was back-breaking work. I had to actually sit down in the end, and because otherwise, because I was doing it standing up, and old men and their backs now. Oh, well. So anyway, look, I can recommend vinegar. Vinegar is a wonderful, wonderful way of treating it. And I must thank my friend Catherine. I saw her post something because somebody was saying, oh, I've got mildew growing on my board games. What do I do? And she recommended the vinegar treatment. So that's what I've done. My gaming board. Oh, I've been toppled from my perch in first place. I'm finding too many people who are far too good or are prepared to come around here and play me far too often. And consequently, I've been supplanted by my good friend Sharita. And, yeah, so that's been... Oh, what can I say? Poor John enjoys a flogging. But it's good. It's good. You know, I'm getting people to come round, and people like the leaderboard. So, yeah. And the last thing is, I've decided to go back and look at commencing my writing novels again. And I guess that was brought on with the fact that Sharita is an author herself. And I'll have a little picture of her book. And she has got one book in print and working on others. And we've decided we'd meet up, do a couple of hours of writing, and then play board games afterwards. So how's that for filling in your day. A bit of motivation to try and get writing. But yeah. So that's my waffle. Went for far too long. Oh my God, 25 minutes. Nobody, people would have given up after the first 5 seconds, I think. But look, thank you very much for watching. Let me just get my crap out of the way. His Lordship's still here. He's not going to like this. Hang on, up we come. You going to say goodbye to everybody? As you can see, he's very, very sleepy now. But he's... sometimes I take photos of him and I can't tell where his head is. Little black and white dog. He's gorgeous. Going on 7 years old now. Hasn't slowed down still. I still think of him as a puppy. But yes. All right, everybody. Look, thank you. Thank you very much for watching. And I hope you did stay through to the end. If not, oh well, not to worry. I'm talking to myself as normal. So till next time, signing off, the Honourable John.